and please share one or two words that come to mind when you think about the power of community. Please share your name and where you are joining from, and please drop one or two words that come to your mind when you think about the power of community. Please drop this in the chat, and because it will be great to see where everyone is from and what community means to you. Now, let me introduce our speakers who will be discussing about the Addressing Root Causes Initiative and the study associated with it. So our GFC partners, Grow Your Reader Foundation and Rural Aid, have conducted an insightful study and involved both the community and youth in its dissemination, which we will learn more about it shortly. So today we are pleased that we'll be joined by diverse and speakers with their rich perspective. So first we will be joined by Indrani Chakraborty, my colleague, GFC Regional Co-Director for Southeast Asia region. And from Rural Aid, we'll be joined by Nityam Ghosh, Pancham Minch, Ujana Minch, and the three of them are Rural Aid's field facilitator. And as well as from Rural Aid, we'll be joined by Dheeraj Lepcha, who is project coordinator and South facilitator at Rural Aid. From Grow Your Reader Foundation, we'll be joined by Sadia Jaffrin, founder of Grow Your Reader Foundation. And of course, these two organizations will also be joined by adolescents and students who will share their experiences in being involved in the dissemination. And we will also be supported by Mariam, who is working with Grow Your Reader Foundation, and she will assist us with Bangla and English interpretation. Before we move on to our speakers, I would like to provide a little bit of background on Global Fund for Children and our approach on community-led change. For the past 30 years, GFC has been committed to helping children and youth worldwide to reach their full potential and advance their rights. We partner with community-based organizations across the globe, working with young people to create lasting change within their communities. One of our guiding stars is community-led change. This principle pretty much like shapes our work at GFC. At GFC, we recognize the importance of flexible funding to allow community-based organizations to invest in their own institutional priorities, which are key to achieving their long-term goals. So over the past year, we've distributed more than $63 million to over 1,000 community-based organizations globally to foster this deep and transformative impact. As I mentioned, that community-led change is central to our vision and mission, because we believe in the power of communities to drive the solutions they need. This approach emphasizes the insight, leadership, and ownership of those who live and experience challenges at community level. By supporting these community-led groups, we aim to shift social norms, behaviors, and policies to create a foundation for lasting change that benefits children and youth. In the past, we've focused on helping individual organizations to thrive. Today, we're also working closely with our community-based partners to address the root causes of issues in the community and encourage collaboration to achieve more transformative outcomes. With that, I am excited to hand it over to our speakers who will share more about the ARC initiative and their inspiring work. And first, I will invite my colleague, Indrani, to share further details about ARC initiative in Southeast Asia and the overall background information about the baseline study.
Thank you, Diaz. Hi, everyone. A very warm welcome on behalf of Global Fund for Children. I will be sharing briefly about the ARC approach in South Asia. 2018 to 2023, Global Fund for Children in partnership with the Simon Foundation has provided grant funding and support to a cohort of community-based organizations in India focused on combating the exploitation of children and youth. Together with our partner organizations, we conducted a series of root cause studies engaging youth from the local communities. Based on the learning and insights of the past 5 years, GFC launched a comprehensive regional initiative in early 2023, which is addressing root causes, in short, ARC. This initiative shifts the focus to preventive approaches directly targeting the root causes. We have begun working with 6 community-based organizations in Bangladesh as well as 6 in India and Nepal. And all of which already incorporated community-centered design principles into their organizational ethos. These organizations also demonstrate a strong commitment to learning and shifting power dynamics within their organizations and also the communities they serve. To track changes and foster community ownership, these organizations have conducted baseline surveys to identify the root causes of problems within their communities. This process will enable them to facilitate program design dialogues with the various community members and also with the stakeholders. The adolescent members of the communities have creatively shared the findings of the baseline surveys using various forms of expression. So let's see how they have done it. Thank you. Over to Tias.
Thank you so much, Indrani, for sharing a little bit more about the ARC initiative and then the baseline that we've been wanting to hear from our partners. So I will invite Grow Your Reader Foundation team to share about the baseline study you conducted and then the dissemination activity. Just to mention it again, that Grow team will also invite children to share the experience when the time comes. Please ensure that you tune in the English channel for the interpretation by selecting the globe icon in Zoom.
Thank you, Tiash. Can I share my own screen? Yeah, thank you. Meeting. Thank you, everyone. And I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Global Fund for Children, APIA, and Rural Aid for the collaboration and creating such a beautiful space for sharing our stories. So my name is Sadia Jafrin, and our organization name is Grow Your Reader Foundation. Our vision is on day all children in Bangladesh will have access to the right creative learning environment, which will build their innate reader to become a leader. So here we see 2 important words, reader and leader. So that reader doesn't directly mean who can only read. It also means that who will be able to access all sorts of information to understand their rights and accountability so that they can take the ownership of their own community and change their narratives by themselves. And when we started our operation, we encountered three main problems. One is lack of reading skills, lack of access to reading books, and lack of practice in nurturing reading habits. So when we started to access to give the additional storybooks alongside the regular curriculum, we figured out that among 10 to 14 years children, almost 70% children don't have reading skills. And without reading skills, children will not be able to access any kind of information and they will be deprived. And that's when we started to work on that, how to reduce the reading skill and also that other two problems. So our ARC initiative, our location is project location is a village named Bashpur in the Gopalganj district of Bangladesh. And Bashpur is a village in a primarily farmer-based community. Our baseline survey was done in 5 paras: Madhyapara, Dokhinpara, Uttarpara, Hichli, and Katakhali. The total household of these 5 paras are 512. And there are 5 educational institutions, as you can see in the map, including 2 government primary schools, 1 girls' high school, 1 secondary school, and a college, and 2 mosques, and a recently established Union Health Complex. So our methodology was like research. The baseline assessment utilized a mixed method approach to evaluate community ownership level, incorporating surveys, in-depth interviews, and focus group discussion to provide a comprehensive understanding. And our sampling strategy for survey was out of 512 households across 5 paras. Each household was assigned a unique number on a detailed map, as you can see in these pictures, and a random sampling of 142 households was then selected using random number generation and identified on the maps for survey distribution. So those who are circled, these are the houses, and we sampling among them like 142. For in-depth interview were conducted with 1 to 2 members from various stakeholders category, including mothers, fathers, teachers, SMC members, victims of early marriage, female students, male students, headmaster of high schools, children, and adolescents. A total of 12 interviews were conducted. And for focus group discussion, it was conducted with 2 groups: a junior group consisting of students aged 10 to 12, and a senior group of students aged 13 to 19. A total of 23 students were participated in our 2 FGDs. So our findings was very interesting. Like when we think that only educated people can think this, think about this problem and analyze it. But we see that the people from the Bashpur village also thinking the same problem or findings, but in their own perspective. So there are lots of findings we have figured out. So one of them is lack of unity. So from our survey, we found that 86% of respondents indicated a lack of collaboration within the community. And also, we can see our village as a symbol of our whole country. And last 16 years, our one government were there, and they have tried to establish a system where all the bureaucratic will hold the total power of the community, and there is a huge power imbalance in our village as well as our whole community country. So the elected representative of the community, like chairman member, they don't have actually any voice to raise on behalf of the community. So one union member reflected, actually people don't listen to us anymore. If we try to intervene, they say that their kids don't eat off your money, so why should we listen to you? So those who have more money, whatever it is, like black money or white money, they have the power. And those who are not, don't have like a lot of money, but they are also like, community representative, they can't say anything. And the second problem is intolerance. Like 81% of respondents feel that different ideas and perspective are not respected. So this point is very related to the point number one, that lack of unity. So whenever the people who are in power, not officially, but in another way, like those who are bureaucratic or those who have lots of money, like so this bureaucratic power, when they feel that this voice is threatening for them, and they try to oppress them. So on students shared that people in my area are quick-tempered and making it difficult to approach them. And another problem is mobile phone addiction. I think this is a global phenomenon. So on male guardians shared that they are always quiet now, because we used to play around and laugh with each other, but now everyone has become a shut-in. My children come home and they either want to play games on the phone or watch TV, and parents now, they don't give them time anymore. So this problem is also like another root cause of lack of unity, because even in family member, they are not well connected with each other, because parents use phone in their leisure time, and also children use phone in their leisure time. So they don't have any mutual or common time to discuss or share their quality time with each another. And also, like, they don't even, like, eager or curious to talk with their neighbors, and they feel very ashamed to share their own problems with the neighbor as well. So they feel that very deep feeling of lack of unity. They understand, but they never want to, reduce the gap, and they don't share their problem with their neighbor. So another problem is drug abuse. It is the one of the biggest problem in our village, because whenever we want to, like, we went to talk or did interview or focus group discussion, everyone was talking about this problem, drug abuse. And they know that where from people buy this drug, or who sells, or who lead the racket, but they never want to talk
मीटिंग
openly.
चालू
So
झाली
open secret.
3 वेळा सांगितलं मी तुम्हाला मगासपासून.
They feel threatened sometimes, because those who have, like, I said earlier that those who have the bureaucratic power, all the people are connected with this, problem, and they lead this whole racket. And another problems are school dropout, early marriage, inability to read, child labor, teaching learning problem. These 5 problems are very much related with each other. And how? So we think that early marriage or child labor or school dropout, these problems are happening only for economic reason. Those who are economically, like those who are like come from the lower economic strata, they like face such problems. But we interviewed with a girl who is victim of early marriage. She shared that the schools or classrooms was not interested to her. She was not finding any, interest to go to school. And that's when she stopped to go to school. And then her parents thought that she is sitting at the home idly. So it's the, burden for them. So they decided to give her marry off. And that's how early marriage happened. So, and also that's how the teaching learning problem is the root cause of many problems here. So how our communities and youth contribute to disseminating baseline findings? So as you can see in this picture, that lots of students from the schools have participated in a traditional Bangla folk song jargon to disseminate the baseline findings. and how they engaged with it, because when we did salt with them in the that we found that this is their one of the biggest strength, that they can perform very well. And we approached them, do you want to participate in this um, you know program? And they were very much curious, because they really want to, because they were also participated in our focus group discussion as well. And that's how they engaged with this. And now I would like to show a very short video of the performance so that you can understand.
তারপরে করিব বর্ণনা আমার গ্রামের কথা, শোনেন শোনেন গ্রামবাসী, শোনেন দিয়া মন, আমাদের গ্রামের কথা করিব বর্ণনা। সুখে শান্তিতে আমরা এখন করি বসবাস, কিন্তু আসলে আছে অনেক সমস্যার আভাস। কি ভাই সব জানতে চান কি কি সেই সমস্যা? এক এক করে আমরা এখন করিব বর্ণন। তারপরে করি
So hope you liked it, and also I think you understand, and I believe that Adila have shared the translation of the song in the chat box.
Yes,
Now
yes.
I would like to invite our youth participants so that they can share their experiences as well. So I would like to invite Jeet, Soha, and Araf. Please introduce yourself one by one. তোমরা একে একে একটু তোমাদের পরিচয় দিয়ে দাও।
দেখা যায়। আমার নাম জান্নাতুল ফেরদৌস সোহা। আমার বাড়ি ব্যাসপুর। আমি জয়নগর হাই স্কুল অধ্যয়নরত অষ্টম শ্রেণীর একজন শিক্ষার্থী।
আমি জিৎ বিশ্বাস। আমি জয়নগর থেকে এসেছি। আমার বিদ্যালয়ের নাম জয়নগর হাই স্কুল। আমি 10ম শ্রেণীতে পড়ি।
আমার নাম আরাফ খান। আমি ব্যাসপুর গ্রাম থেকে এসেছি। আমি জয়নগর মাধ্যমিক বিদ্যালয়ে 10ম শ্রেণীতে অধ্যয়ন করছি।
Thank you, everyone. So I'd like to ask the first question to you, that why did you decide to let everyone in the village know about these findings? তোমরা কেন সিদ্ধান্ত নিয়েছিলে গ্রামের সবাইকে এই তথ্যগুলো জানানো প্রয়োজন?
আমরা সাধারণত সবসময় শুধু নিজেদের নিয়েই ভাবি। আমাদের এই ব্যস্ত জীবনে আমাদের আশেপাশের মানুষ এবং আমাদের আশেপাশের পরিবার সম্পর্কে ভাবার সময় আমরা খুব কমই পাই। কিন্তু শুধু নিজেকে নিয়ে ভাবলেই তো আর উন্নয়ন সম্ভব নয়। উন্নয়নের জন্য প্রয়োজন একতাবদ্ধতা। তাই আমরা সিদ্ধান্ত নিয়েছিলাম যে গ্রামের সবাইকে এই তথ্যগুলো আমাদের জানানো প্রয়োজন।
আমি জিতের সাথে কিছু যুক্ত করতে চাই। আমরা সবাই বিভিন্ন জীবনধারার মানুষ, তাই প্রত্যেকের মতামত এবং সমস্যাগুলো ভিন্ন ভিন্ন। আমরা যখন গ্রামের মানুষের কাছে উক্ত সমস্যাগুলো তাদের তুলে ধরেছি, তখন তারা প্রত্যেকেই এ বিষয়ে সচেতন হয়েছে এবং উদ্যোগ গ্রহণ করছে।
Thank you, Araf and Jeet. So why did you choose Jarigan to disseminate the information? তোমরা কেন জারিগানকেই বেছে নিয়েছিলে এই তথ্যগুলো সবার সাথে শেয়ার করার জন্য?
দেখা যায়।
হ্যালো।
আমাদের উপস্থিত ছিলেন অভিভাবক, শিক্ষক এবং শিক্ষার্থীরা। তাই আমরা চাইনি এটি কোনো দীর্ঘ বোরিং ভাষণে পরিণত হোক। যদি আমরা বিষয়গুলো সংক্ষিপ্ত এবং আকর্ষণীয় রাখি তাহলে তারা আমাদের কথা শোনার জন্য আরো বেশি আগ্রহী এবং সম্পৃক্ত হবে। তারা আমাদের কথা শোনার জন্য আরো বেশি আগ্রহী হবে। তাই আমরা চাইনি যে এটি কোনো দীর্ঘ বোরিং বা ভাষণে পরিণত হোক। তাই আমরা জারি গানটিকে বেছে নিয়েছিলাম।
আমরা জারি গানে পারদর্শী। এটি আমাদের এক ধরনের শক্তি বলা যেতে পারে। আমাদের স্কুলে আমরা প্রতি বছর বিভিন্ন ধরনের সাংস্কৃতিক অনুষ্ঠানে অংশগ্রহণ করি, যার ফলে আমরা আঞ্চলিক পর্যায়ে গিয়েছি এবং সেখানে পুরস্কৃত হয়েছি। আমাদের জারি গান হচ্ছে, বাঙালি যেহেতু সংস্কৃত সমৃদ্ধ জাতি, তাই জারি গান যার একটি অবিচ্ছেদ্য অংশ। আমাদের গ্রামের ঐতিহ্য বা আমাদের সংস্কৃতির ঐতিহ্য সবার সামনে তুলে ধরার জন্য জারি গানকেই সর্বোত্তম উপায় বলে আমি বেছে নিয়েছি।
Thank you, Araf and Soha, for your beautiful answer. So, last, how did you feel after disseminating the information through Jarigan, and how do you intend to use the knowledge gained by the activity? গ্রামের মানুষকে এই তথ্যগুলো জানানোর পর তোমাদের কেমন লেগেছে এবং এখন তোমরা কিভাবে এই জ্ঞানটা কাজে লাগাতে চাও?
জারি গান পরিবেশন করে আমাদের সত্যি খুবই ভালো লেগেছিল। আমরা যখন জারি গান পরিবেশন করেছিলাম আমরা জানতাম যে এটি আমরা খুব ভালোভাবে করতে পারবো। জারি গান পরিবেশনের মধ্যে আমরা দর্শকদের প্রতিক্রিয়া দেখে আমাদের নিজেদের আত্মবিশ্বাস আরো বেশি বেড়ে গিয়েছিল এবং আমরা এটি বুঝতে পেরেছি যে জারি গান শুধুমাত্র যে আমাদের একটা এক্সট্রা কারিকুলার অ্যাক্টিভিটিস নয়, এই সুযোগটির মাধ্যমে আমরা অন্যদেরকে প্রভাবিত করতে পারি এবং সমাজে পরিবর্তন আনতে পারি।
এটি সকলের সামনে উপস্থাপন করা সত্যি আমাকে খুব খুশি করেছে। সবাই আমাদের বক্তব্য বুঝতে পেরেছে এবং আমরা যে আত্মবিশ্বাসী এবং শক্তিশালী তা আমরা উপভোগ করতে পেরেছি। জানতে পারি আমরা এবং অনেক ভালোভাবে সম্পন্ন করতে পারবো। সত্যি তখন আমাদের খুব ভালো লেগেছে।
Thank you, Soha, Jeet, and Ara, for your wonderful answers. Very impressive. So, thank you for joining with us. And also, after the inception meeting, we discussed with the participant of the inception meetings. We heard their reflection as well. So, one participant guest was shared that the moment was extraordinarily. I had never attended such meetings before and lacked prior experience, making this a completely new experience for me. I found it particularly rewarding to meet different neighbors in one place and to consider the perspective of various wise individuals. I especially appreciate how the village's problem were highlighted through the songs of the children. So, we wrote a beautiful blog in the CLCP site. You can also like read the full blog from the site, where you will find lots of reflection as well. You will also find a short reel so that you will be learn more about our whole inception meeting and dissemination process, and also you'll find another daily news links in detail so that you will learn more about it. So after the inception meeting, community, our different paras and took small actions to solve their own problem. Like they have lack of, educated teacher in their communities. Children are, very much addicted with the phone. So mothers took the initiative to teach them. Also, adolescents took the initiative to play with the children so that they can be like far from the mobile phone, reduce their using time. So lots of actions our community have already taken. So thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Grow Your Foundation team, and the adolescents is very interesting and very powerful to also like hear how you disseminate it in the community and involve youth for the dissemination, and how their purpose of making everyone is aware of the problems that surface in the baseline. So for the next presenter, I will like to invite Rural Aid team to share about the root cause study that you conducted. And just also to remind you, Rural Aid team will also invite children and students to share their experience. So please ensure to tune in English channel for the interpretation. And if you have some questions for Grow Your Reader Foundation, please, you can leave it in the chat box, and then we will discuss it during the Q&A session. Rural A team.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Tias. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much to GFC and API, and for the opportunity to share our disseminations of communities. About organizations, about rural organizations, it's based on Alipurduar district, West Bengal, India, and we work for the child protections and capacity building of children's and community for the sustainability at tea gardens areas. So for disseminations, we have conducted a small quality study to examine what makes children vulnerable to trafficking and child labor in the site of our works. So since rural has worked for 35 years, we haven't conducted such a research study, and this is our first research study we have done. So main objective is to find out. Could you please change the slide? Yeah, the main objective to find out why there has been vulnerable of children's in tea gardens, such as trafficking, elop marriage, child labor, etc. We have conducted this small study. Could you please change slide? For study, we have used in-depth interview to those affected by the issues and stakeholder to understand the different perspective. And number two is about observations. We use observations tool by the field facilitators of a particular field. And the number three is FGD with the children's group, parents, and women's group. We have conducted the study in 3 tea gardens where we work. Next, please. Next slide. This is the table, the chart we have worked. Could you please change the slide? Okay, for the profile, we have conducted 83 participant respondents for the in-depth interview. FGD, 2 FGD observations conducted by the 2 different resources to help to understand the behavior pattern of our communities. And this is our proposed sampling research study we have conducted in the different angles to understand the different angles of our communities. The selections of participants, we have experienced the trafficking persons, trafficking, elop marriage, earlier marriage, early child marriage, alcohol abuse, etc. So we have conducted the study with the parents, mothers, fathers, children, teachers, panchayat member, ICTs workers, ASHA workers, and etc. Next, please. Yeah, and for this slide, I would like to request Pancham to share.
Thank you. Myself, Pancham Mish from Rural Aid. From this study, we came to know that there are issues interlinked and complex as trafficking, eloped marriage, child labor, not one issues which lead to the reason to make children vulnerable. As finding of study, we find that substance and alcohol abuse is the main issue that interlinked for the vulnerable. Community, they want a bright future of children but no longer come to address their issues, and those who consume alcohol are also care for their children, but they don't realize consequences of what they are doing. Family are the unit of change that mitigate or prevent the vulnerability of children as well as family. Lack or decreasing of communications, relation between parents and children, increasing conflict between husband and wife, more vulnerable when children are disconnected from other family can match the reason for vulnerable of children. Next slide, please.
No,
Previous, please, previous.
previous slide. Yes, this one.
This is the scenario of tea gardens where average income of and in expenditure of tea garden workers per income. Usually the tea garden worker receive rupees 250 per day for the permanent workers and other temporary workers who works not as regular day work for 16 days in a month average and receive 300 per day. Those maximum tea gardens workers they spend more in alcohol, lotteries, ticket, gutka, etc. Thank you. Over to you, Dheeraj.
Thank you, Pancham. Could you please change the slide? Yes, this is our findings. In our study findings, we have found the two major like root causes. Number one is the excess of alcohol, and number two is families not very social. We find that the substance and alcohol abuse are the main reasons for causing the root cause lead to the vulnerability of children in the tea garden that are interlinked and complex. For excess of alcoholism, if the family income is low, usually the tea gardens of workers has a low income that is already shared by the Pancham, that is rupees 250 rupees per day. So if they got for 250 rupees, they are not sufficient to run their families. So because of them, they get tensions and stress and depressions. So in that alternative, they will go for the excess of alcohol. And when there is a family conflict or lack of communications, obviously there will be a community they consume alcohol. The community they consume alcohol, and the excess of alcohol also can lead to addictions from the friend circles, from friend circles behavior patterns. So if the family in the family persons they consume the alcohol, mainly for tea garden workers, they have no regular work in tea gardens. That means their payments, there is no payment or salary for them. So if they work for 16 days, obviously there will be reductions of their incomes. So if this also may causes the excess of alcohol. And another is the excess of alcohol can also lead to domestic violence, like wife leaves, divorce. So the children they might be vulnerable. And next is the family. Number two is the family are not very social. The second or main reason is the families are not very social. If the if the families are not social, obviously there will be a school dropout, because in our tea garden area, maximum indigenous communities they consumes, they are illiterated and unaware of our educations and the child protection. So they that can might be vulnerable of children. If the father not so, obviously there will be migrants there will be occurs. And yeah, and lastly, to conclude, family is important that changes prevent the alcoholisms and the vulnerability of our children. Could you please change next slide? Yeah, I request Pancham, please explain.
Thank you, Dheeraj. Here we are sharing an inside story of an alcohol person who belongs to a tribal community. He lives with his wife and three children, and one of whom is special child. For the better education and life of his children and family, he was working in a school as a sweeper for the last 8 years. But due to his addiction to alcohol, he made a mistake and lost his job. After all this, the person regrets that he lost his job due to addiction to alcohol. Due to excessive drinking alcohol, there are frequently fights with his wife at home. The children also do not talk to him properly. After losing the job, the dream he had for the children will hardly be fulfilled. After that incident, he also devastated because it is difficult to get work in the local area. He would like to give this message to the young generation that they should avoid the addiction of excessive alcohol consumption because it has bad effect on oneself as well as on the family, neighbors, and society, and the nation also. Conclusion that excessive of alcohol consumption led to vulnerability of personal life, family, children, and society. Thank you.
Could you please say, change next slide? Yeah, Uzna, please.
Hello, myself is Uzna, means from rural. At government, after the research study on alcohol, we have this dissemination with government, especially in portion of WPCR with the collaboration of district official. At community, we feel important to dissemination as community become it findings are comer from community. It community, the children and communities themselves decide to dissemination the funding on alcohol. So drama on two funding, one alcohol and two family unit. They have decided to do on alcohol with it important of them.
Next slide.
During the community dissemination, we facilitate the community with the explain on headache, how the headache occurs with different stem such tension, stroke, low pressure, extra. But we consume painkiller from relief in certain time, but in occur again. And another explain, we facilitate how the foundation of house must have a strong pillar. I request admin to play video, please. And community.
Yeah, I request
can you step-
Ahmad. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ahmad,
can you stop the screen? Okay.
Yes.
हम लोग रूरल एड एनजीओ के साथ में और हम लोग बच्चे और ने स्टडी किया था, उसमें नशा का मुद्दा निकला। सब कोई नशा के मुद्दे पर एक बच्चे और हम लोग मिलकर एक नाटक किया था। जैसे कि उस नाटक में एक परिवार में नशापान रहने से उस परिवार में किस तरह का परिवार में जीने का माहौल होती है, उसके विषय में नशापान गार्जियन रहने से अपने बच्चों के ऊपर और कैसा अत्याचार होते हैं। बच्चे खाने के लिए, पहनने के लिए, शिक्षा के लिए सब में वो लोग का मन, पढ़ने लिखने वाले बच्चे का मन टूट जाती है और किस तरह का दूसरों को देख के कैसा वो लोग का प्रभाव पड़ती है। आज वो लोग और बच्चे तंगी आके घर का माहौल देख के अपने पिता का अवस्था नशापान का घर में पढ़ने वाले बच्चे भी पढ़ नहीं पाते हैं और वे बाहर कमाने के लिए निकाल जाते हैं। और जब इस प्रकार का इस नाटक को हम लोग देखने के लिए जितने भी सदस्य वहाँ पर उपस्थित थे, वे सभी के मन को इस नाटक के द्वारा सभी के आत्माओं के हृदय को छू लिया और सभी के मन हृदय से आंसू बहने लगा। एक परिवार के विषय में ऐसा सच्ची घटनी है, ये घटना ऐसे घटती है बोल के सबों के मन में आंसू आने लगा। और नाटक के द्वारा हम लोग के गांव में जो देखा और देखने वाला चर्चा किया, उसमें से बहुत सुधार आया। और सुधार आने के बाद में और इस नाटक को और दूसरे जगह में भी हम लोग दिखा सकेंगे, ताकि वहाँ का माहौल भी इस तरह का देखने वालों का मन में कुछ परिवर्तन आ सकती है।
Hello. Yes, thank you, Ahmad. Could you please share the screen? Okay. Usna, hello. Yes, please, Usna.
And also, I request on adolescent children to share the experience on dissemination. Over to children, please.
नमस्ते सभी को। मेरा नाम वंदना किंडो है। मैं उत्तर लोथावाड़ी हिंदी हाई स्कूल पढ़ती हूँ और मैं क्लास 11th में पढ़ती हूँ और मैं एडोलेशन ग्रुप की मेंबर हूँ।
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम प्रशांत रिकी है और मैं उत्तर लोथावाड़ी हिंदी हाई स्कूल 11 क्लास में पढ़ता हूँ।
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम अंकिता खड़िया है और मैं एडमिन ग्रुप की मेंबर हूँ और मैं क्लास 10th में पढ़ती हूँ लोथावाड़ी।
उसमें बहुत सारे समस्या आए, बहुत समस्या है, जैसे कि चाइल्ड लेबर, चाइल्ड मैरिज, बहुत सारे आए, अल्कोहल। फिर वो सब समस्या है। उसके बाद हम लोगों ने उस समस्या के बारे में स्टडी किया। स्टडी करने से हम लोग को पता चला कि जो मुद्दा है वो अल्कोहल का है, क्योंकि अल्कोहल जो है वो कहीं ना कहीं सारे जो परेशानियां हैं, सारे जो वो कठिनाइयां होती है, जो प्रॉब्लम्स होती है, उनसे जुड़ी हुई होती है, उससे जुड़ी हुई होती है। जैसे कि चाइल्ड लेबर, चाइल्ड मैरिज हुआ, जो स्कूल से बच्चे ड्रॉप होते हैं, वो सब सब नशे के कारण ही होता है। कहीं ना कहीं वो एक साथ एक जगह ही मिलता है, जो अल्कोहल पे ही मिलता है, वो कहीं ना कहीं। और हम लोगों ने जो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, जो नाटक हम लोगों ने दिखाया, वो हम लोग नाटक इसलिए दिखाया क्योंकि जो पहले जो थे हम लोग के जो जो बुजुर्ग थे, हम लोग के जो गार्जियन कुछ कुछ जो थे, उन लोगों ने भी पहले ही नशे के को बंद करने के लिए ट्राई किया था। जो थोड़ा झगड़ा करके, थोड़ा उस गुस्से वाला तरीका से, जो शराब का दुकान था उस जगह में बोल के शराब को हटा के चीज का कोशिश किया था, लेकिन क्या हुआ, वो कोशिश जो रहा नाकाम रहा, क्योंकि जो पीने वाले होते हैं वो तो पीते ही हैं। तो हम लोग को पता चला कि मतलब हम लोग को शराब को दुकान को बंद नहीं करना है। जो पीने वाले हैं उनके मतलब जो दिमाग को है, जो मन को है, उसको परिवर्तन करना है। मन को परिवर्तन करने के लिए हम लोगों ने एक मतलब ग्रुप में हम लोग मीटिंग की स्टडी की। उसके बाद हम लोगों ने एक फैसला निकाला कि हम लोग डिस्क्रिमिनेशन करें। डिस्क्रिमिनेशन इसीलिए करें क्योंकि जैसे कि हम लोग को जो लव एरिया है, ज्यादा एडुकेटेड नहीं है गार्जियन। नाटक जो हम लोगों ने इसलिए दिखाया क्योंकि हम लोग के जो इधर के जो गार्जियन है, वो लोग उतने पढ़े लिखे नहीं है। अगर हम लोग रैली करते, कुछ अवेयर प्रोग्राम करते, उसमें बोर्ड में लिखते, तो वो लोग कुछ समझ नहीं पाते। कुछ स्पीच देते तो स्पीच के जरिए भी वो लोग समझ नहीं पाते कि हम लोग क्या कहना चाहते हैं। और जैसे कि अगर हम लोग नाटक करें, नाटक में से जो दिखता है, जो हम लोग साथ में दिखता है कि क्या हो रहा है, उसके साथ फिर जो हम लोग जो कहना चाहते हो सामने दिखता है वो चीज। इसलिए हम लोगों ने एक नाटक चॉइस किया, जिसमें नाटक में हम लोगों ने दिखाया एक परिवार है, एक परिवार में एक मम्मी पापा और दो बहनें भाई रहता है। और जो होता है उसमें पता है वो नशा करता है, काम सब में उतना ध्यान नहीं देता है, नशा करता है। फिर नशा चक्कर में जो अपने पत्नी का जो पैसा होता है उसका फिर ऋण लेके फिर शराब ड्रिंकिंग करता है। इस समय जो बच्चे जो स्कूल पढ़ते हैं, जो ट्यूशंस करते हैं, जो उन लोगों के लिए पढ़ने के लिए जो खाता कॉपी पेंसिल जो भी नीडेड थिंग चाहिए, वो सब नहीं मिल पाता है। वो चीज़ नहीं हो पाता है पैसा की कमी के कारण। फिर होता है, फिर कोई जैसे कि एजेंट सब आते हैं, ये एजेंट सबको तो ये चीज़ के बारे में मतलब वो चुप ताक लगा के रहते हैं कि कब हम लोग को ऐसा परिवार मिले जहाँ से हम लोग लड़के लड़कियों को उठा पाए और हम लोग बाहर ले पाए। वैसे मतलब ग्रुप को टारगेट करते हैं और टारगेट करके मतलब करते हैं कि हम लोग उन लोग से कुछ दिन बात करते हैं, फुसलाते हैं और बोलते हैं कि आप लोग की बच्ची काम करने नहीं जा रही है, एक्चुअली पढ़ने जा रही है, वो घर में रहेगी, वो एक बच्चा का सिर्फ ख्याल रखेगा, उससे बोल के कुछ बोलते हैं। मतलब पढ़ाई करेगी साथ साथ कुछ करेगी, पढ़ाई भी हो जाएगा, अच्छा पढ़ाई भी हो प्लस आप लोगों को कुछ पैसा भी मिल जाएगा बोलते हैं। तो फिर घर का स्थिति के कारण वो लोग भेज देते हैं। फिर पता चलेगी, फिर बच्चा का कुछ दिन में पता चलता है कि बच्चा को कुछ खबर नहीं है, क्या हुआ, कहाँ पे है, कुछ पता नहीं। और जो गार्जियन होते हैं उतना पढ़े लिखे नहीं होते, उसको पता ही रहता है कि हम लोग क्या करें क्या नहीं, कुछ पता नहीं रहता है। और उसी तरह पूरा परिवार बिगड़ जाता है, पापा पूरा शराब में पूरा लीन रहते हैं, तो कुछ फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता। उधर मम्मी जो होता है अकेले हो जाती है, घर को कैसे संभाले, क्या करे, जो होती है। और जो बच्चे होते हैं जो जो पैसे के कारण, जो आर्थिक स्थिति होता है उनके कारण जो स्कूल से ड्रॉप आउट हो जाते हैं, ऊपर से फिर क्या होता है कि वो लोग जो होता है ट्यूशंस वगैरह वो सब भी बंद कर देते हैं, कॉफी सब मिलना बंद हो जाता है, तो वो सब करना बंद हो जाता है। उसके बाद फिर जो होता है कि जो बच्चे होते हैं, जो कुछ बच्चे होते हैं जो पढ़ाई से दूर हो जाते हैं। पढ़ाई से दूर होने का मतलब ये होता है कि दिमाग इधर उधर जाता है। मतलब जैसे कोई बच्चा होता है, जो लड़की होती है खासकर, वो किसी लड़के के चक्कर में फंस जाती है और वो चाइल्ड मैरिज करने के लिए चली जाती है, वो चाइल्ड मैरिज करने के लिए चली जाती है, चाइल्ड मैरिज कर देती है। फिर जो बच्चा होता है वो फिर घर में कोई गाइडेंस नहीं रहेगा, पापा उधर नशे में लीन, माँ इधर काम करते करते घर का ख्याल नहीं कर पाती, बच्चों को भी देख नहीं पाती। इस बच्चा फिर उधर नशे में चला जाता है। फिर पूरा नशे के कारण पूरा फिर वो बच्चा पूरा बिगड़ जाता है, पूरा परिवार बिगड़ जाता है। फिर जो माँ होती है वो भी काम के कारण, टेंशन के कारण फिर बच्चों से अच्छे से बात भी नहीं कर पाती है। और वो घर के जो बच्चे होते हैं उसको सिर्फ डांटती रहती है, कम सिर्फ डांटती रहती है। वही चीज हम लोगों ने देखा। और जो घर के में जब हम लोग नाटक दिखाए उस टाइम जो उसका जो माहौल होता है वो कैसा होता है, वो अभी मतलब हम लोग जानेंगे।
जो मतलब हम लोग नाटक है उसमें वहाँ का हम लोग कुछ ऐसा था कि मतलब पेरेंट्स सब जो थे वो लोग देख के सोचे कि हम लोग अपने घर को सुधारेंगे। मतलब जो ड्रिंक करते हैं शराब के कारण जो वो लोग का घर में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है उसको हम लोग सुधारेंगे। वो लोग वो नाटक को देख के रोए भी कि हाँ हम लोग का घर में भी ऐसा होता है। और मिडिल क्लास फैमिली में खास तौर पे ज्यादा से ज्यादा हम लोग के घर में भी होता है। जैसे हम लोग को पता है हमारे पापा जब ड्रिंक करते हैं हम लोग को पता है कि कैसा फील होता है नहीं होता है। तो वो लोग का मतलब वही मोल था कि वो लोग सोचे कि हम लोग एक गाँव को सुधारेंगे, ड्रिंक को समझेंगे ऐसा ऐसा। उसके बाद में मतलब दुकान को बांध कर कुछ नहीं होगा, जो पीने वाला लोग है उसी को तो सुधारना पड़ेगा। तो वहाँ का मोल कुछ इसी टाइप से था। और जो खुद को फील हुआ वो एक एक्चुअली वो नाटक नहीं था। हम लोग को लग रहा था कि वो हम लोग के साथ हो चुका है, हम लोग को रियल कर रहे हैं। वैसा फील हुआ जो हम लोग को अंदर से किए, क्योंकि हम लोग को पता है कि ड्रिंक के कारण परिवार कैसा बिखरता है, क्या होता है नहीं होता है सबको।
और मेरे परिवार में मेरा पापा भी ड्रिंक करता था, तो हम लोग से जब पहला नाटक दिखाया था कैसे उनको एहसास था कि मेरा फैमिली के साथ बहुत गलत कर रहा हूँ। इसलिए पापा पापा फिर छोड़ दिए शराब। अभी मेरा पापा शराब सुपारी कुछ नहीं खाता है। और जब हम लोग दूसरा गांव में नाटक दिखाए, तो वहाँ का पेरेंट्स सब हम लोग को बोल रहे थे कि एक पेरेंट्स मतलब नाटक खत्म होने के बाद हम लोग के पास आए, हम लोग के ग्रुप के पास, और बोल रही थी कि मैं बाहर गई थी और मैं अपना बेटी को कभी बाहर नहीं भेजूंगी, मेरे बच्चों को, क्योंकि बाहर में किस तरह व्यवहार किया जाता है उनको पता था। और उनका बेटी शायद स्कूल छोड़ दी थी, तो हम लोग के पास आके बोल रही थी कि मेरा बेटी का एडमिशन करवा दो। तो हम लोग ने जाके हम लोग का प्रिंसिपल मैम जो है उनसे बात किया है और उनका एडमिशन हो जाएगा। थैंक यू।
Hello, thank you, childrens. Hello.
Thank you so much.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you, Dheeraj.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, childrens, and thank you, Usna. Now I'd like to request Nityam, please. Yeah.
Thank you, Dheeraj, and also thanks to APA and GFC for giving me opportunity here. Myself, Nityam Ghosh from Rural Aid Organization. Change the dissemination. While through drama, the children he's illustrated how do alcohol affect their personal life, and also it create chaos in the family, economic and social well-being in community. After dissemination by the children and community, we found that some people are here able to think and negative of alcoholism in families, which impact to children, family bonding and economic of family. Understand about the family is also primary unit of changes. The participate community encourage children to perform drama to other lines of tea gardens. Some of family has stopped consuming alcohol and think of their children education. We focus and strengthen the VLCPC community protection mechanism for the protection issue of children. Please change the slide. Possible solution: this is a complex issue and cannot be addressed by one organization. Government support and guidance, collaboration with local grassroots workers and government, build trust between and community, other NGOs, collaboration, partnership with other NGOs in the region, because we can bring our strengths together to solve this complex issue. Community, parents, youth, and children, strengthening of VLCPC community accountability for safety of children, building relationships within families and between families. Over to Dheeraj. Thank you.
Thank you, Nityam. Yes, thank you, Nityam. Over to Tias, please.
Thank you so much, Rural A Team and the adolescents group members for sharing the insights from your root cause studies and then the dissemination activities. It's very inspiring, especially to hear the experiences from the adolescents in their decision to disseminate the findings. And I will also like to highlight what has been shared in the chat that both Rule 8 and GROW conducted this study for the very first time. So it was such an impressive undertaking for them. So just hats off to our partners. So now we're reaching to the Q&A session. Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box and I'll do my best to get through as many as we can. Or you could also raise your hand to share your question directly. And if there are any specific questions for any of our speakers, please mention their name along with your question. I can see how people are appreciative of the sharing at today's session for the presentations and the reflections from the adolescents group and students that are related to Grow Your Reader Foundation and Rule 8. I can see Ritu raise your hand. Feel free to share, Ritu.
Okay, can I share?
Yes.
Okay, this is to the facilitators, Rural Aid and Grow Your Reader Foundation. What will you do differently if you were to do this again? What will you do differently? अगर आपको ये दोबारा करना है तो आप क्या डिफरेंटली करोगे?
Yes, Ritu, thank you so much. If we got opportunity to do differently, we would like to involve community also, not only children but community also.
Why, Dheeraj, if you could explain?
Yeah, Ritu, because the community, though the children they know about the alcoholism, but the community has also should know what is the effect of alcoholism, because community is the main community means by parents, because they are running their children's, they're running their families, so it's more effective if we involve community in our disseminations.
Can I add with Dheeraj?
Yes, Sadia.
So if we want to if we get the opportunity, do it again. So we'll also engage the teachers, especially because sometimes we feel that teachers feel that it's just like an extracurricular activity. So children will perform and that's it. But sometimes they don't try to understand that what is the in-depth meaning of the song, or what the lyric of the song, and why they are participating or why they are trying to do through their song. So next time, if we have the opportunity to engage our teachers as well with the performance, so I think that will be more impactful, because community people, I think, understand that what is the performance and what is the meaning of the performance and the objective they tried to understand. But we felt that teachers were not convinced. They were just thinking that it's just another performance. So we'll keep in mind that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dheeraj and Sadia. Before I go to another person who raised their hand, I will also like to pose these two questions in the chat. One question from Sama. It will be nice to hear how the groups feel about sharing their learning. So, and then the second question is, are the baseline findings available to the community after the dissemination as well? And if so, in what form? So I will like to ask Rule 8 and Grow team to answer Sama and Manafi question first before we move to it. There's another question from Aditi, and then let the person who raised their hand to pose their question.
So I will answer the first question, that are the baseline findings available to the community after the dissemination as well? If so, in what form? Okay, so the performance was delivered in Bangla. So they all understood. And we had post-performance reflection session with the participant as well. Our facilitator went to visit them, discussed with them, and tried to listen their reflections. So we also shared in our presentation the statement, and feel free to read more statement of our participants. Adila has shared the link in the chat box. I will share again. So they understood the problems and they are very much curious to take action. So we didn't deliver like any form of like written form or video. We didn't deliver it like that. But we believe that they understood it and they understood the objective of the inception meeting and the dissemination and the performance as well. And the second question was
about how you feel about sharing your own learning.
okay, so since we have just shared our findings in last June, so in 2 months, and within the 2 months we had like flood and another political incident. But our community, like more than 20 households or families took action to how to reduce the consumption on mobile phone, how to reduce the learning gap, how to increase the unity of among the neighborhood. So we took some things already.
Thank you, Sadia. I would like to invite Rural Aid team to share your response to these two questions.
Yeah,
About how do you feel sharing your learning, and then are there any like in what form do you make the baseline findings available?
yeah, yes. This as you have all as we have already that this baseline founding form like baseline study we have conducted. It's our first time we have conducted through study, and it's give us very important for us because whatever things we have done in communities, it's mainly depend on our objective and goals. But to the baseline finding, we have found that the issues that comes from the communities has to be lead to the communities only. So the baselines in the baseline, yeah, community dissemination. So we have found that all the dramas and the street have performed by the children by themselves, because it's a initiative led by the children's that they are going to disseminate to the drama. So
Thank you,
after dissemination, so what are the changes we have? We have seen that as children have shared already that some of the parents who have already consumed alcohol has changed their behavior patterns. They have changed their behavior patterns to the negative to the positive, and they have stopped their drinking alcoholisms in their life, in a personal life also.
I can see another question from Farjana. Yeah. So yes, we faced.
Yeah, there are more questions.
Yeah, faced a threat from a person who is directly connected with the drug peddling, and he is also, using or substances, and who is a very important person to deal or lead the whole racket in our community. So he directly threatened us, but not in a direct way, but in an indirect way. But we understood that it was a threat, and it happened in the after the inception meeting. So just after the inception meeting. So yes, it happened.
Thank you, Sadia. And then there is a question. I can see like you've already answered some questions from the chat box, and then there's one question from texting bot. How community take ownership of the analysis and finding, and what was their reaction to the findings? Have they put their different versions? So if you could respond to how community respond or react to the findings, and how they are taking ownership of the findings. That would be awesome.
Dhiraj, do you want to take the question? Okay, I can answer this question. Like us, our community also like had the very first experience regarding the inception meeting and the baseline findings and everything. They all knew all the problems, but they didn't like participated in such a program where children will share the findings, community problems, and so it was very much overwhelming in a positive way, because they understood all the problem, but they never thought about the problem, like that sitting together, discuss together. They didn't have any experience like this. So it was very overwhelming and exciting for them, and they were very much engaged with the whole events. And after the inception meeting, they also shared their reflection that it was very much reflective and insightful, and also helpful for them to reprocess and reflect on, and how they can participate in the solution process. Yeah.
Thank you, Sadia. Dheeraj, do you have anything else to share
Yes.
regarding that?
Okay. Yeah. As the children's already informed, they shared that they have their so they have conducted their as the finding to the disseminations of after the reactions. They find that some of the parents who are already present in the drama state, they find that it is their own problem. It is their own problem to problems which are going on in their daily life. So they feel themselves that it is their problems. So the children has conducted the disseminations, because all the issues which has been shared by the children to disseminations, it is their own problems. Because some of the parents also reflect, even the children, they reflect that this is their own problem. So they disseminate it.
Thank you, Dheeraj. And I can see some other questions which were already answered. And I know we have to wrap up the Q&A session, but feel free to keep posting your questions, and if you have more burning questions after the webinar, you can also direct those questions to APA, and then we can always follow up after the webinar. So just wanted to wrap up the Q&A, and I believe APA, I would like to invite you to just do the group picture before we are going to the summary and closing remark. For the APA team.
Please open your camera. Sorry, can you stop the screen? Yes.
প্রকাশ ভাই, মনিরা
Okay.
আপা, আপনারা ক্যামেরা অন করেন।
Yeah. So we have 3 slides.
বাচ্চারা কোথায়?
Okay. Slide 1. Slide 2. And slide 3. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so we are almost wrapping up the session. It was such a engaging Q&A session, and now I would like to invite the co-leaders of Eval Youth Asia, Hasiti Samarasinghe and Amol Shaila Suresh, to share the summary and closing remarks for today's session. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tias. Hello, everyone, and warm greetings from the Netherlands. Well, for unforeseeable circumstances, unfortunately, Amul won't join with us. But let's continue. So as we come to the close of our session today, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on what we have accomplished together and offer some closing thoughts. So today we explored the invaluable role that our communities have played in disseminating baseline findings, drawing on experiences from Bangladesh and India. So through combinations of surveys, in-depth interviews, and focus group discussions, two research teams have gained a comprehensive understanding of the challenges these communities face, such as a lack of unity, intolerance, and then other significant social changes, issues like drug abuse, early marriage, child labor, trafficking, and many more. And we also explored how these communities conducted root cause analysis and demonstrating the diversity of their research groups and involvement of broader stakeholder involvement, which I would say greatly enriched the studies. So for me personally, one of the most powerful aspects of our discussion was hearing directly from the community members and youth. Their innovative use of jargon, please correct me if I'm wrong, the traditional Bangla folk song to spread awareness was particularly, I think, striking. And I think this method not only preserve the cultural heritage, but also make the findings more accessible and relatable to the wider community. Additionally, the sharing of personal stories by our children and the creation of videos to disseminate these findings were wonderful examples of how impactful these initiatives have been. We also heard moving reflections, I would say, from those involved, and particularly how this process has sparked a new sense of engagement and a desire for continued dialogue within the community. And we don't need any other evidence. The enthusiasm shown by the participants and their heartfelt comments is more than enough to see the success and the innovation of these collective efforts. And I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks to all the speakers today from Global Fund for Children, Grow Your Reader Foundation, and Rural Aid for their insightful thoughts and contribution. Your dedication to this cause is truly inspiring. And a special thank goes to the youth who encourageously shared their experiences with us. Your voices are not only powerful, but really important to progress that we are making together. And I also want to thank Tias for the wonderful moderation. Thank you, Tias, and Mariam for the translations. And huge thanks to the APIA team and of course, the team community ownership for always organizing such impactful sessions. And of course, a special thanks to you, Ritu, for tirelessly pushing these initiatives forward. So as we move forward, let's carry with us the lessons learned today. Community involvement is not just a means to an end, but it's a cornerstone of the sustainable development. So the ownership that communities have taken in both the research and the dissemination process is a powerful testament to the strength of these grassroots initiatives. So I encourage each of you to stay connected and continue sharing knowledge, strategies, and the successes. I think together we can make a lasting impact. Thank you all for your participating and vibrant discussion that we had today. Let's keep this momentum going. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Tias, over to you.
Thank you so much, Hasiti, for the closing remarks and then a wonderful summary of what was presented today. And so this brings us to the end of today's webinar. On behalf of APEA and the Community of Practice on Community-Owned MEL and Research group, I want to thank all of our speakers, participants, and the interpreter for contributing to this important conversation. We hope you found the discussion valuable and that it inspires you in your own work. So have a great day or evening, depending on where you're joining from, and bye.